they'll stay as a going concern business in the city of West Fargo.
Jim, when they paid in December, or you just got that check, was that just for December?
It was just for December, $316.
How many months? They paid 1 month.
They paid 1 month.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. I guess the reason I wanted to talk about this, Commissioners, is because I understand where, Jim, you're coming from. I definitely understand it's a city. We want to get our money back. But this is theft. To me, this is embezzlement, the first degree here. I mean, they took money that wasn't their money, that they collected, and spent it. And so whatever they spent it on, they spent it, John. So to me, this is embezzlement. And we're not even going to slap them on the wrist.
Well, in order to collect sales, this is a part of a sales tax, which is lodging tax. We have the authority to impose a lien against their property, a tax lien, which is superior to all other liens. To enforce that, you have to go in and foreclose and force the sale of the property. I suppose we could cite them in the municipal court, but this seemed like the most logical solution to do a workout agreement with them.
I guess what I don't understand is, again, so is this embezzlement and theft, or is it not?
I don't know if it would qualify as embezzlement. It would certainly be misuse of tax dollars, and it's potentially a criminal penalty. But I'd have to go back and look at what we charge them with. But we'd certainly have the ability to seek a lien against their property. But given the smaller amount, we felt that this was the best route to do a workout agreement with them.
Do we have an obligation as a municipality to report this to the tax commissioner or anything? Are we complicit if we don't?
Well, lodging tax is treated a little differently. We can certainly report it to the tax commissioner. They may also be short in sales tax and other taxes that are going to the state tax commission. It's usually, we can certainly follow up with the state tax commissioner about the other issues. This was, the city collects this lodging tax, and so we were just taking care of something the city collected.
Well, again, to me, that's stealing. They stole that money. It wasn't their money. And they spent it wherever, but they still, to me, that's embezzlement. Same thing to me. I don't know. You're an attorney. So my question is this, though. Again, going back to here we are. We're going to, we asked them for money, and they gave us 1 month out of how many months? Back to 2017. And we're going to ask them for $489 a month. To me, that's a joke. That's like telling our other hotels, hey, don't worry about it again. Once again, we have no teeth. Honestly, I think we should put a lien on their building. They're going to pay. You'll have to find the money. I mean, I just don't like being that lenient to something like this for so long. And there's no guarantee they're going to pay us. We have no teeth again. If they don't pay us, we're right back here.
Well, if they don't pay us, we will pursue the lien.
Which we could do right now without anyway. So.
We sent them a letter when it was brought to my attention. I immediately sent out a letter that we were going to seek enforcement action unless they contacted the city. They contacted the city, and then the city agreed to have the workout agreement. We drafted the workout agreement and brought it before the city commission.
So in the check you received, Mr. Larson, was it specifically delineated that it was December?
Yes. The agreement is requested that December, January, and February payment be made once this agreement is signed by all parties. And he's stated that he would do that, and then he would start on the payments, and he must stay current as well.
Okay, so in the collection of this lodging tax, how far back does it usually run in arrears? Is it 30 days or is it 45 days?
It's a 30 days.
30 days. Okay.
Their reports are due by the 10th of each month.
All right, thank you.
So that $380, that was just for December. That's not any of the back payments.
That's correct. Or the amounts that we used for the forward payments or the repayments, that's not included in that amount because we wanted to get at least about $1,000 plus down to start with. Because if we can't get the first amount, you'll never collect the next amount.
Right.
It just doesn't sound kosher to me, I guess. I just don't. I think, again, to me that's stealing. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's stealing. And he spent the money. There should be some ramification to that. to say we're gonna be, first of all, I think it should be reported, at least to the chief sitting there. But to say we're gonna just collect, $489 and hope you pay us, I understand we need to get the money as a city. But at some point, we also have to stand up for ourselves. We have to say enough of this, no different. I guess this all falls into the building permit process and all that. At some point, we have to take a stand. We can't just keep saying, okay, it's okay, it's okay. And that's my personal opinion. I guess this is a commission and should have a consensus, but I just don't understand why we wouldn't have more teeth to do something. I mean, it's 2017. It's not like this was 6 months old or something. This is old. And then he still didn't keep up on his payments. He only paid you for December. And we're in March already, so he really should be, technically he should be, well, first of all, he's way behind, but even if he was attempting, he should have been January, February, March here, or January, February, December, like you said.
The request, when I put the request to him, was to get minimally the December payment. So the amount, I was part of the discussion for what amount would be brought just today.
And it was December?
And I requested December.
Commissioner Simmons, and other commissioners, I think the whole point of this, though we know it's not proper to collect tax and then not give it to the agency that it was collected for, it's kind of an olive branch. I mean, it was partially on us that it was, typically we react quickly if it's like a month or two behind, and in this case, it got severely behind and nobody was aware of it.
He knew it,
and so he knew, yes, he did.
Knew it.
But at the end of the day, it's just like an olive branch, and they either pay us the money or this is the final step. Because if we go to court, the judge is going to ask, well, what did you do to try and remedy it? Well, this is our remedy, and if they don't pay, then that's it. I understand what you're saying though about holding the funds, but this was just the one thing, and Jim worked out an agreement between him and John, and it was our attempt to try and help an existing business.
How long did you give him to get that software up and running?
March 12th.
And that's come and gone, obviously.
Yes.
It's not up, so there he's already defaulted on that. Correct?
That is correct.
I think personally, if we put a lien on that building, he'll come up with the money a lot quicker than this payment process. And then we don't have to go to court for that, right?
Well, you don't have to go to court to put the lien on, but to enforce the lien, you have to force the sale of the property. So it's like any tax lien. You put a tax lien against somebody's property. When they go to sell it, you'll collect on your lien. But if you're trying to collect on it today, you need to go to court to enforce it. And so that was...
So do we have an estimate of how many dollars that is? Because it's going, because normally when you place a lien for monies owed, if it's under a certain amount, it goes to small claims court.
The amount in arrears as of the end of January of 2019 is $5,504.97, $5,500 approximately.
What's the limit on small claims?
I'd have to go back and look for sure, but typically you're not going to, we had looked at, you could do a collection effort to collect it against whatever funds they're making, or you can, the best way to do it is put a lien against their property. The lien probably isn't big enough right now to force the sale, just because by the time you get done messing around with it. So we thought it would probably be best to go the collections route, and then he called and wanted to bring it in, work it out, and so that was why we brought the agreement forward as the best solution, given the small amount that was owed.
The collections routes will cost you 50% of what the dollars are owed.
Correct.
That's just the standard in the industry. The liens, though, no one else will be dropping anything off there of any type of services without cash.
Correct, and that may already...
That's the force that we have.
That's the force that we have.
Yeah, and that may already be going on the property. We just...
That's what...
I did check, he is current on his utility bill.
I think a lien is a good way to go right now. I think that he's going to be forced to pay that. I just didn't get us paid up. And then to me, it tells the other businesses that you know, you don't do this. It's not acceptable.
Are there any late payment fees or anything like that assessed? This is just straight?
This is straight. We just received the documents here in February.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There is really not a whole lot of penalty out a tax collection business unless you get caught and then they work out some payment plan without any payment charge or interest.
Nothing.
Are we able to use our property taxes at the end of the year with this?
Excuse me?
Are we able to, for unpaid balances, would we be able to put it onto his tax?
We should be able to. Yep, we can put it on his property tax at the end of the year.
Which might be
The quickest way to get it.
That'd be the
quickest
way to
and
do it.
an aggressive way, but yet not quite as aggressive as putting the lien on the total property.
I'd like to make a suggestion. It's March 18th. He did send us the bill as per what Mr. Larson had requested, December. Let's wait 2 more weeks till the end of March and see if January comes in. If that doesn't follow the parameters that Mr. Larson sent out, then we bring this back in 2 weeks and we initiate whatever is the pleasure of the commission and or our legal counsel and or our financial people.
Any other stipulations, like to get the reservation system going, or change the deadline?
I would like to suggest, Jim, that either you call them or you write them a letter that they were a point on the agenda this evening, and that this is a route that we're headed to if we're not satisfied with a payment.
Be glad to do that.
All right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Because it is halfway through the month, so we really don't have anything to lose. It'll take John a week or 2 to get a lien filed and all of that type of thing anyway. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and hopeful he'll continue with the one more phone call or urging by Mr. Larson. On a business like a hotel, a lien is a tough deal for them to deal with.
I'm assuming that that's probably why he hasn't done the change of reservations, because that probably costs money too, doesn't it?
I am sure that's why they've
It's probably
canceled
very
him.
expensive.
Percentage of every not only what they book, but every room that they sell, they have to pay on.
In conversations with this individual, as recent as last year, they talked about the reservation system and that it is expensive because they take a percentage of the room rates, and because the room rates regionally have come down, they can't afford to give up that portion. So I'm not entirely sure of the viability of getting that back or not.
They're giving up, but by not having it, they're giving up 70% of the revenue of that 25,000. 70% of it is what they would take. They lose about 30% of it. So there's a material number for them to have that. It's worth it. It's paramount to them being a going concern, or else somebody subsidizing their business.
But if their occupancy isn't over 60%, they're not making money anyway, so they can't pay that. So it's a terrible cycle. All right. Anything else from Mr. Larson? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I just want to say, Mayor, I'm not blaming our staff for anything here. You guys didn't make any mistakes or anything like that. I just wanted to bring this forward because I'm frustrated, so you know. It had nothing to do with you, except for Chris.
Although it is a lesson that things can get significant if they slip, so let's
Right. So
try to stay on top of them. It's a lot easier to address if they're a month or 2 behind than 15 months.
Yep.
Next order of business is item number 12. Mrs. Fisk, City Administrator's Report.
we've been sitting too long.
Legs don't work.
Good evening, President and Commissioners. Well, I just spent a day with my grandkids, so I could barely move anyway, and after sitting for 3 hours, I can't hardly move. I'll make this quick because this has been a long enough meeting. First of all, in Chris and Dustin bringing up the flood fighting or the flood fighting effort that we might have, every time we do have that type of issue, the commission appoints a commissioner as a liaison to coordinate with staff and keep the commission informed. And so I would request that you consider who you would like to have, since we're not declaring it now, but when the time comes, we'll need we'll need an answer for that, so just so that you're aware. And I won't let you forget. Another item, 32nd to 40th Avenue on Cheyenne Street is going to be being shut down. It's going to be shut down in 2 weeks. They're putting up message boards now to let people know that that section of road will be shut down. And so people are aware and can get alternate routes to get in and out. So that will be happening. And Melissa, I'm sure, will be on it. About the first week in April, we're planning on having a presentation for you and the public dealing with the outcomes of the special assessment meetings and the recommendations of staff based on the public comment. Melissa's been working on that really hard, and so we're just kind of trying to shoot for that first week of April so that we can get something out there. But we want to do a really good job. We don't want to just rush it. So we're trying to be diligent, so we'll keep you posted on that. At the April 15th commission meeting, John will do a construction contract review, and then we'll discuss change orders and how they work and a review on the process of that between him and Dustin, and they will give you some information, just kind of a tutorial. It's kind of one of those things that they're just kind of a different thing altogether, so he will go through it, and then if there's things that you like, don't like, we can tweak those contracts as well, so going forward. I did have 2 pieces of correspondence. One was Lake Agassiz Regional Council was looking to see if we were interested in putting a representative on their board. And it would be one of you as commissioners, and I don't know. I mean, we don't have someone on there now, but they've had a vacancy, and they were just curious if we were interested.
If you want that, I would recommend Commissioner I'd make a motion for Commissioner Jurgovich to be on that board. Do I have a second?
Is there a second?
Oh, that's what happens when you're not here. Okay.
Is there a second? Guys, due to lack of a second.
You want to be on me or not? I'll second someone, please.
Tell me what the Lake Agassiz Commission does. I mean, this isn't the water thing.
That's something I can't even really tell you what they do.
Larry?
They are the Regional Development Commission for this region. There are 8 regions in the state. Their primary function is to oversee the split of community development block grant dollars that funnel through the governor's office to the 8 regions. Each region gets an apportionment of it, and they can oversee that portion. They set policies by their board on how it's to be administrated and divvied out to the various communities. Usually it's on an application, competitive application process.
And it has to be a commissioner? Yeah.
Must be an elected official.
We'll take it under advisement.
Okay, there's no rush. The last piece of correspondence is, if you remember a while back, Oppidan, the construction company that's building in the area, we had put out an agreement with them that they were going to complete all the berm, landscaping, fencing, sidewalk by the end of May. They sent us a letter because of the weather. They're concerned now that it might be almost impossible to be able to get it done by that time. And so they are requesting that, they said their intention is to move forward as quickly as they can, but they were wondering if they could have additional 30 days if the weather required it. Because they're just worried about getting the berm up and getting everything going without it being all muddy and messy and all that with all of our snow. So I bring that before you to ask you what your thoughts are.
I think that's reasonable. I don't know what
Well,
else
North Dakota are always 3 weeks away from a drought.
Yeah.
It could dry up and we could be drier than a bull and praying for rain in 3 weeks. That's to be revisited when it gets closer.
I disagree completely. I think we ought to hold them accountable. They were supposed to have it done last fall. Then they signed another agreement with us to be at the end of May, and they're asking again to be let off the hook. And I say, absolutely not. But
I'm okay with that.
it's a five-person vote, so absolutely not.
I can concur. They could do some things to dry it out. They could get some extra.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay,
Battles tonight.
I will take that back to them. I will take that back to them and let them know,
That was my
okay? And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
A quick question, we have an equalization meeting next month as well?
Yes, it will be the second Tuesday in April.
Some of the members, that'll be a new experience, so I might bring them up to speed as to what that might.
I'll possibly, maybe I could have Nick give you an explanation at our first meeting in April. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. We didn't send out very many increased notices this year compared to other years. Residential's been basically flat in most areas, so it's just houses that are coming up, the new construction, exemption. There was some commercial changes. They're still getting the commercial up in line, so there would be increases there. Nick hasn't said how many notices they're going to send out, but those will go out by the end of the month. And then we usually get calls and we find out. I don't think it's going to be as busy as it was last year. There's always that one or two people that come every year, but otherwise I don't anticipate a large crowd, but we'll keep you posted.
That is on a separate night, Jeremy.
Yep, the second Tuesday, so we'll send out notices for you. Thank you.
Mrs. Fisk. Is there any correspondence?
That was all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any non-agenda items?
So moved.
Second. You're out of order. I would ask the commissioners' consideration to having me as the liaison with regard to the flood.
What did you want?
I would be the liaison on the flood.
I'm fine with that.
I agree.
That's good.
Could I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Second or whatever.
Moved by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Simmons, that Bernie Dardis be appointed liaison with flood efforts. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Simmons.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Commissioner Olson. Been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.